Hi grade 3s, you have been doing so amazing with fractions so far. I'm super impressed and I hope you're enjoying them. They're actually really fun to do. So we have been talking about fractions as being part of a whole, so pieces of a whole thing. So for example, the first one that we have up in this corner, the whole square is cut into 4 pieces. So we know that 4 is our denominator because that's how many pieces that there are. So we're going to start that and put that in our denominator. So 4 is how many possible pieces we could have to make the whole. Now, the numerator is going to be the one that's shaded in or not shaded in. In this case, I'm going to ask for what is the fraction of the shaded in pieces. So we can look and see I have 3 blue pieces out of the 4. So that looks like this. My numerator is 3 because that's how many pieces are shaded, and my denominator is 4 because that's how many pieces of the whole. Pretty easy, right? We're totally getting this. You guys are doing amazing. Another quick review, the one right beside it, there are 6 total pieces. Okay, because there's 6 pieces, that's the denominator. That's what it takes to make a whole. Now, how many are shaded in? How many are colored? 1, 2, 3. There are 3 shaded in, so my numerator is 3. My fraction is 3/6 are shaded in. Now, we're moving on to fractions of a set or fractions of a group of objects. So it's very similar, it's the same thing, but instead of having pieces of a whole, we're going to actually have a group of objects and we're going to have a certain number focused on, okay, if that makes sense. So let's look at the first one. So the first one we have stars. And if you count the stars, we have 6 stars. So out of a total of stars, I want to know what is the fraction that are yellow. So what is the fraction of yellow stars? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to see that there's 6 stars. That's going to be our denominator. Our numerator is going to be the fraction that we're looking for. So we're looking for the fraction of how many yellow stars there are. So how many yellow stars are there? You can count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 yellow stars. The fraction of yellow stars is 5/6. Okay, let's jump over to the milk cartons. I have how many milk cartons? Hopefully you said 3. That's my denominator. I have a total possible of 3 milk cartons. Now I want to say how many are colored. 1. That means that 1/3 of my milk cartons are shaded in. So far, so good? Okay, let's jump up to that set of keys there. So I want to know what is the fraction of keys that are shaded in. So again, I need to find out how many keys there are in total first. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 keys. That means that's my denominator. Now, because I want to know the fraction of how many are shaded in, I'm going to count how many are colored, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colored in. So my fraction of colored keys is 5/8. I'm not going to do all those because it's pretty easy. I'm sure that you can get that as we go along. You have a worksheet, actually 2 worksheets, I think, that work through that. Now we're going to do a couple more examples because this is pretty straightforward and this is easy, but there might be some confusing parts. So let's go to the next page. So the next one is what you're going to see on the second page that I've given you. Now what this is there's just a whole bunch of dots there. Now the question is, and maybe I'll adjust this a little bit, what are the fraction of black dots? Now, in order to come up with the fraction, we need to figure out what is the total possible amount. So just like if we're talking about a fraction of a whole shape or a whole piece, we need to know what are the total possible amount of pieces. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to come up with the denominator. So we're going to come up with our total possible dots. So let's count those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 total dots. So we're going to know that our denominator is 8. It's going to be something 8. Let's write that so we don't forget. Okay, now the question says, what is the fraction of black dots? So we're going to count the black dots. How many black dots are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 black dots. So my fraction of black dots is going to be 5/8. I guess I should have left myself a little more room to write that. So the fraction of black dots is 5/8. So 5/8. Now, what about my white dots? Do I need to count my dots all over again? Did I add any more? Did I take any more? Nope, I had the exact same number, so I'm going to go with 8. So my denominator is 8 dots. I have a total of 8 dots. The question is asking me, what is a fraction of white dots? So, easy again, we're going to count the white dots. 1, 2, 3. So my fraction of white dots is 3/8. Pretty easy so far still, right? Okay, let's keep going. What about making our own fractions? How do we make our own fractions? Out of sets. So the very first question here says you need to create a fraction that is 2/5 of the shapes are circles. Now, you are going to have questions like this on your worksheet, so this is why I wanted to go over this one. So the first thing I might want to do is, because I know it's 2/5 of the shapes are circle, does it tell me what the other shapes have to be? No, I have lots of options. I have squares and a star, and I have lots of other options. What I do know for sure is I need to have 2 of them being circles. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drag 2 circles into my box. Now, I have my numerator. My numerator is 2, so that's done. My denominator is 5, so I need to have 5 shapes in total. They can be any shape that you want. They do not have to be circles. Or they can't be circles because we already have our circles. We have our 2 circles. So they can be any other shape other than circles. So how many more do I need to make 5? Hopefully you said 3. I think I'm going to pull 3 hearts in there. So this shows me that 2/5 of the shapes are circles. Okay, does that make sense? So I have 2 are circles and I have 5 shapes in total. 2/5 are circles. Now, what if I want to shake it up a little bit? Because it doesn't matter, I don't have to have all the same shapes. I'm going to try another one. So this one says that 4/6 of the shapes are stars. So my first move is, I know for sure my numerator is 4. I'm going to grab 4 stars. Now my denominator is 6, which means I need 6 shapes. I'm not going to pull stars because only 4 of them are going to be stars. Now I need a couple more shapes to make 6. And there we have it. This fraction of a set is 4/6, where 4 out of 6 are stars. I hope that that makes sense. If you have any questions at all, please don't be shy to ask me, and we can get that set up. Have fun with these.